Streaming live.
Okay, welcome to the PPC radio show. Cindy Williams here, and I am joined by Shelly Shell, my sister from another
Hello, how
mister.
are you?
And we are joined by Craig Engel. I'm so excited always to have our financial guru. Uh, this man is super smart, y'all. So today's theme is fight, right? What is it? It's about fighting, standing up and
Yeah,
fighting. Yeah.
yeah, getting up
Yeah.
and fighting. Yeah,
Yeah, get up and fight. That's what it
get
was.
up and fight.
Get up and fight. And obviously, whoever you
Metaphorically.
are, metaphorically, yeah, we're not talking about fisticuffs. Everybody. Don't beat anybody up, please. And then come and say, well, she told me so. But metaphorically, fighting through anything that you're going on in your life. That's what we're talking about today. And so, since we are it's bi-weekly, Craig is joining us. He is going to start us off with talking about fighting for your financial life. So he's going to give us some basic information, and then we can go into some questions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So, when Cindy's talking about fighting, it's literally for all of us to be fighting for a place at the table, right? We all want our place setting at the table of society and to be functional, giving people in our society. In the first line of defense that we all have is having a financial education. I think we can all agree that it's a lot easy. You can be miserable and have no money, but you can also be miserable and have a little money. Which one would you really rather be?
I want some money,
If I'm
honey.
gonna be
Yeah,
miserable, I want the money, but
yeah,
I don't want to
exactly.
be miserable at all.
Right. None of us want to be miserable, but if you run into a rough patch in life where you're sick, you hurt yourself, you lose your job, we're going through COVID, whatever. Everybody's having a lot of the same difficulties. It makes life a lot easier when you have the kind of financial background to set yourself up to be successful, right? I mean, who
Hmm.
doesn't want to? Tell me one person in the audience who doesn't want to be financially successful. And I would imagine nobody would answer, oh, me, I want to be financially unsuccessful. No, we all want to be financially successful. So the most important thing with that is to be financially literate. And that is the most important thing. And in my business, I just run into people all the time who say, yeah, I know I should be planning more, but that kind of stuff really doesn't interest me. So I let my husband handle that. I don't want to learn about it. Or I'll let my wife handle that. She's really good with money. I just sign the checks. That's not the way to go. I mean, you know what I mean, ladies? We
Well,
want to know exactly what's going on with our financial life. So what's really interesting is that having savings and having assets, it makes the problems that we all have, every one of us, we all have problems. But when we have savings and we have assets, we can choose to have better problems, right? That's what life is. It's choosing better problems. So, what kind of problem do you want? Am I going to make the rent this month? Or do
hmm.
you want the problem of, I have plenty of savings in order to pay the rent, but how do I handle this to make my money last longer? I mean, it's pretty clear what problem we'd rather have, right?
Exactly.
So,
Definitely.
yeah. So, what do you ladies think about all that?
Well,
Um, okay.
go on,
No,
Shelley.
I was gonna say I want the problem that says I have this savings and yeah, tell me how to figure out what investments I need to make, what stocks I need to buy,
Right.
and how I need to get. I want those problems. I definitely yeah, I can handle that. I can really handle it. Even I can handle those problems that say I have a lot on my plate because a lot of money is coming in, and I just don't know what to do. I'll take that.
Right,
I'll
right,
buy
right.
that. I'll buy that for $1.
We
Hmm.
would all like to have that problem where there's too much money coming in and we need to figure out what to do with it. Yeah, so financial literacy it's literally the way to a better life. It's a way to doing better for yourself, for your family, for your financial future, for your retirement. And all of this stuff we have to realize when it comes to money, it's on our shoulders. I mean, what's happening with Social Security, ladies?
some people are saying it's going away. Is this true?
Well, I don't think it's going to go away. My personal opinion is that we're always going to have Social Security. It's way too, I mean, I wouldn't want to be the politician telling an 80-year-old that their Social Security is going to go away, right? Because
Right.
that's the most dependable voting block. So we think Social Security is going to stay, but it's probably going to have to evolve. So the way we're looking at it is Social Security, we may have to wait longer to get it, and we may end up getting less, but we feel that's all still going to be part of the program. Now, here's what we have to realize about Social Security. Does anybody, Shelly or Cindy, you know what the average check is that goes out every month from Social Security to beneficiaries?
I have no idea.
The average? No, I would never know.
Okay. The average check that goes out from Social Security is $1,500 a month. That's it.
Okay.
So, when you talk to people and you ask them, when you're in retirement, what kind of money do you think you're going to need to live on in retirement? Can you live on $1,500 a month?
No.
And, yeah, right. Everybody's going to shake their head. Absolutely not. So we have to realize Social Security is not designed to provide you an income in retirement. It's designed to supplement your savings, which is all on us. So, if you're getting $1,500 a month, that's the average check that goes out. If you made a lot of money in your life, you could get up to $3,200, $3,300 a month, which is a lot better, but you also have to be a stronger earner throughout your career. So Social Security is something to really talk about. But having financial literacy, having savings, having assets, that is the way that people get themselves out of poverty. This is the way people get themselves out of depending on others to make sure that they're going to be okay. We want to make sure that we're doing everything in our own power so we can create our own future, right? So a lot of people in the past have told me, hey, Craig, you're really lucky. I'm like, no, I'm not that lucky. But what I am is I'm disciplined. And I do what I need to do because I don't want to live a life in retirement where I live in a trailer home and I'm eating cat food. Right? I want to travel. I want to do things. I want to have freedom. And the way to do that is to depend on us. So we want to make sure that we look at financial literacy very strongly, because another thing is that it also improves our personal psychology. Think about that for a second. Ladies, have you ever dealt with financial insecurity?
Constantly.
Constantly, right?
Yeah.
I'm an actress. What do you expect?
Right. So next stupid question, I already know the answer to it. Do you like having financial insecurity in your life?
No.
No.
I could put some other adjectives toward that and say some other stuff. Are you kidding me? No,
yeah,
I want money.
No. But we oftentimes create our own realities, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know any better. We were taught to do certain things a certain way. We see our friends doing things a certain way, our family, and we think that's the way to go about it because that's all we're exposed to. But when we're exposed to a better way, then we can start changing our reality. And the best way to change our reality is to start taking care of our financial house. And our own personal psychology is going to change, right? When you have money in the bank and you can make sure that your mortgage is paid and your bills are paid and they're going to be okay for the next 6 months, what does that do to your own personal outlook on life?
Everything changes. Everything changes. Being an actress, sometimes the thing about being a working actor is sometimes you work and sometimes you don't.
Right.
A feast or famine. Man, when it was a feast, I felt like I was tiptoeing across the earth. I was so light.
Yeah.
But when it's famine, whoo-wee.
It can be really tough.
Scary. It's scary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the way people get into the problems that they have. And I'm just going to go through a bulleted list. I was doing a little bit of research before I started this today. So the number one thing, low financial literacy, that is something that we need to address. Poor access to financial information and professional information. So for anybody who listens to this program, you're going to have access to my insights, but realize this is just the Cliff Notes version. I'm giving you a broad a look at what you need to do, when in fact, when I look at Cinda's finances or I look at Shelly's finances, you're both going to have different things going on in your lives that we need to handle differently, right? Mm-hmm. So having access to a financial professional is very important. What we find a lot with people who don't have a lot of money is they're afraid to ask for advice because they're afraid that it's going to cost them money that they don't have. And that's understandable, right? We don't want to be putting money into a place where it's going to cost us when we don't have it to begin with. However, this is important to understand. When you look at the stock market, going all the way back to 1926, the stock market averages about 9 or 10% growth every single year. That's a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But in order to gain that kind of growth, you have to be invested. Now, if you have a financial advisor, somebody like me, they're going to charge you a fee. You're always going to pay fees for getting advice and for getting help with your finances. But if you pay 1%, 1.5% a year in order to get that 7 or 8 or 9% in return, is that worth it? Mm-hmm. It absolutely is. Yeah. So looking for advice from a professional, somebody who can get you on the right track, in order for you to get there, you should be willing to pay those fees. A lot of people, they don't want to pay anything, but that's the wrong way to look at it. The fee is not the problem.
Is it that they don't want to, or they just don't have it? You know,
they don't want to. A lot of people are very fee averse. So I always say this: the fee that you pay a financial professional, that's not the problem. That's actually the solution. When you pay somebody in my field to help you, you're ultimately going to be far better off as the years go by than if you are left to your own devices and you keep doing the same mistakes over and over and over again. You need somebody to help you get out, right?
That goes back to that discipline thing, though. I think that, you know, if, let's say you're a Starbucks drinker.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You know, don't drink the Starbucks and use that money as your fees so you can come up. You know, don't have so many subscriptions. There is money to pay for that. And then if they're helping you the way they should, your money will expand and expand and expand. So it was worth that year of no Starbucks.
Absolutely. I did that. I have a latte every morning for breakfast, every day. But I don't go to Starbucks. I bought an espresso machine. I make it myself and I save all the money. Mm-hmm. Smokers, you know, what's a pack of cigarettes cost these days? $10 a pack?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't smoke. But, you know, these are things where you can find money really easily to start putting away for yourself. You don't really have to sacrifice. You just have to kind of like change the way you go about your day. I've been counseling a lot of people lately about their mortgages. We had this conversation last time. I had a client who was paying 4% on her mortgage. And her mortgage balance was about $300,000. I advised her to do a refi with her current mortgage provider. Her new mortgage is 2.25%. She's saving almost $400 a month. Mm-hmm. $400 a month. That money can go into her financial planning. She found that money. We all have it. So you can find it by refinancing it. You can find that money by changing your behavior. You can change that. You can get more money by not buying certain things that you're used to. The money is there. You just have to have the will to find it. The other thing that people get in trouble with is because they have very little or no savings whatsoever. So I'm going to ask you ladies a question. Do you have savings for a rainy day?
I don't have anything for anything.
What about you, Shelly?
But it's savings for a rainy. My thing is when there's a savings for a rainy day, that means just maybe I pay mortgage later. But to me, is if my mortgage is still there, there's no rain. That's always going to go to mortgage. You know what I mean? It could be sitting there as a savings, but if one day I have no mortgage, I'm going for it.
Right. Well, let's talk about that. Why that's so important. You want to have a rainy day fund. We typically recommend 6 to 9 months of expenses that you should have in the bank.
Oh.
And the reason is because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, we could get in a car accident, we could break our leg, we could have a health issue, we could lose lose our job. We talked about this earlier, but having that money set aside allows you to weather those storms.
Yeah, but see, that's the issue we're having, though. I mean, I had savings until my rainy day, and it's called COVID.
Yeah.
And it took all my work, both of them. My day job was gone, which was teaching. My real job was gone, which was acting, singing.
Right.
All of that went away. I had scripts that were getting ready to get made. They were in the process, and all the investors pulled their money. So the rainy day has happened. And now I'm left with nothing, and I'm having to rebuild again. And I think a lot of people are in that situation right now.
You're absolutely right. Everybody is in that situation. The bulk of the people in this country, any money that they had saved, they've used. I've talked to people who pulled money out of their 401k plans to use that. But the thing is, once again, some people, I talked to somebody recently, they did not know they could do a forbearance on their mortgage. And they've been paying their mortgage the entire time of this COVID, where in fact they had available to them where they could put their mortgage payment on forbearance and avoid that payment.
But the forbearance said at the end that there was going to be a balloon payment. So
yeah, there is. But I mean, would you rather not pay? Here's the thing, though. Forbearance allows you to extend the goal line a little bit, right? So did you say you were on forbearance a little bit right now, Shelly?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. So what you're doing is you're moving the goal line. So with my mortgage company offers forbearance too. And there's several different ways that you can handle it. But what I'm advising people to do is do the forbearance if you can, because that allows you to keep more money liquid where it's accessible to you. You want that. That's your rainy day fund. Then when you start paying the mortgage again, do a refi, get a lower rate, and fold what you owe into the new mortgage. And then you won't have to come out with it. So that's what I'm advising people to do. I just talked to somebody today. She had a 3.5% interest rate on her home. She's on forbearance. It's going to end up adding about $10,000 to her mortgage, but she's going to refi at a lower rate. She's going to fold that debt back into the mortgage, and she's going to end up paying less every month.
Wow.
That's kind of cool, right?
That makes sense. I mean, but instead of the balloon payment, what I did was pay the mortgage. So I know it was a forbearance, and I know I was allowed to put it on the back end. But the thing that got me was you could say balloon payment. That means at the end of this, I'm going to owe all this. I don't like to owe that, so I went ahead and just paid it.
Yeah. So had you talked to me prior, I would have advised you differently. So like I said, financial planning isn't just about how to handle your investments. Financial planning is how you handle all of your money. And a big part of financial planning is making sure that you have flexibility with your money, right? It's not just about having it, it's about being able to use it in the right way. That's the important thing. So if you had that money saved, you'd feel a lot better than giving it to your mortgage company because you don't have it anymore. It's tied up in the bricks and mortar and walls of your house. You can't get that money. Wouldn't you rather have that money accessible to you? Of course, everybody would say yes. So here's another thing. Go ahead.
Right quick, I just want to say hi to everybody that's listening. So far, no questions. If you guys have questions on Facebook, go on and answer them. I've gotten some comments from hi Antoinette and April and Cher. I'm not sure how to say your name, Miss Lightfoot.
I've got comments.
I don't know.
Hi Vernon. What's up, man? So if you guys have questions, you can ask. We've got about another 10 minutes on this subject. Then we're going to move on to our next subject.
Did you read what he said?
Yeah.
You gotta read that comment.
Okay,
He said 6 to 9 months makes sense though. No rainy day. I may have enough for a drizzly afternoon or a brunch. Don't keep them up to mine.
Hey, you know what? It's something at least, right? It's something at least.
For your drizzly afternoon?
Hey, Robbie. So I'm sorry. Go on, Craig.
Yeah. So another thing that we want to really take a good look at is a high debt to income ratio. So how many people listening carry a lot of credit card debt? It's really important to understand that there's good debt and there's bad debt. There's debt that we want you to avoid, and there's debt that's actually really good to have. So ladies, what do you think bad credit debt would be?
I would
Bad
guess
credit debt would be
credit cards with high
Credit
interest
card
rates.
debt
credit
is
cards with
number
high
one.
interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Credit card's number one debt. Car debt, we don't necessarily want that. Student loan debt. I mean, I think everybody knows that we've got a student loan debt fiasco going on in this country right now. And it's a disaster for people who are stuck with, $50, $75, $100,000 worth of student loan debt.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, they haven't been able to refinance that kind of thing. So we have to realize that if you have high credit card debt, that is money that is just basically evaporating from your budget. If you use a credit card, you want to pay that thing off every month, because the money you give the credit
all
card,
the way off, you mean?
all the way off. And we don't want you to carry any debt whatsoever. If you do have debt, what we want you to do is pay off the highest interest rate card first. Pay the minimum on the lower interest, eliminate the high interest first, and then work toward eliminating all of them. Once that credit card debt is gone, all that interest that you're paying those credit card companies, you get to keep it. Would you rather keep it in your pocket or give it to put in their pocket?
I'll take
It's kind of a no-brainer, right?
Exactly. Yes. I have 3 questions. I'll start with the first one. Antoinette asks, I've only been in my house for a year. When should I refinance?
That depends. What do you owe on your house, and what is your interest rate? Typically, if you can save more than 1% on your interest rate, it's probably a good idea to look at the options and take a look at what you would be saving and how you would use that money. So I recently counseled somebody who saved a lot of money every month by refinancing, and the money that she's saving, she's putting straight into an IRA, and that money is going to grow tax deferred until she takes it out of retirement. So she got multiple benefits out of doing that. So every situation is different. If you're at 4% interest and you can get it down to 2.5 or 2.25, I would say go for the refi, because it's going to save you a whole lot of money.
So when you say get it down to 2.25, you have to have very good credit to get it down to 2.25.
That's my next point.
Okay.
It's absolutely the truth. People who have low financial literacy tend to have really bad credit scores because they don't know how that all works. And something we all have to realize is that if your credit rating is lower, it's going to cost you a lot more money to borrow money from a bank in the future. And having really good credit also gives you a lot more versatility when it comes to money, because you can get money a lot cheaper and you're not paying out money in the form of high interest rates or anything like that. And it also gives you more flexibility. If something comes up, an opportunity where you need money and you feel confident that you're going to use it, and you have a bad credit score, chances are you may never get the money to begin with. And if you do, you're going to be paying really ridiculous interest rates on it, which we don't want you to do.
So Antoinette is paying a 3.375 interest rate, and her credit is over 800.
Okay. So Antoinette, I would advise you to get with your bank and say, hey, I'm getting all these offers for low interest rates on my mortgage. What can you do for me? I did that recently, and I was able to save 1.5% on my mortgage. They came out to my house on a no-doc refi. All banks are different, but I was able to save over almost $400 a month on my mortgage just by doing a refi. So it's worth investigating. So 3.35% interest is rather high when you consider what's out there. And also, when I tell you about mortgages, don't do a 15-year mortgage, do a 30-year mortgage. I talked about this last week with Shelly. Do the 30-year mortgage. It gives you a lot more flexibility. You have a lower payment. And if something happens to you, you lose your job, you can't work, money's not coming in, you've got a lower payment that you're obligated to pay instead of a high payment. So always go for that 30.
All right. So then Vernon said he has no debt but also no credit. But he has some savings and he has some stocks and he's investing. So where should he start when it comes to his credit, building credit?
Well, Vernon, what I would say to you is try to get any kind of credit card that you can. I mean, you can go to like J.C. Penney's and get a credit card and buy something and just pay it off. You can use a little bit of credit, and once credit companies start seeing that you're using the credit and that you're using it responsibly, you'll get more offers for it, and you can gradually build up your credit. So that's something that everybody wants. You want to have a credit score. It's vitally important to have a high credit score. So if you're over 720, that is optimal. But the closer you get to 800, even better. I think the best rating you can get is like 810 or something like that, or 820. But if you're above 720, that's really good. As far as your savings and investments go, that's all very good. I would encourage you, Vernon, to be highly diversified with your investments, meaning don't put all your money in one investment, because if that tanks, you lost everything. You want to spread the risk around many different asset classes.
Great. Now, one more question before we start wrapping our financial. I think we could do a whole show here for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, but that we do all, mind, body, spirit, and finances, y'all. Okay, so April is asking about student loans. She says her student loan is very, very high. I'm paraphrasing. She says she's got a lot of debt from student loan. I know that President Biden, should I say to be respectful, is talking about wiping out at least 10,000, forgiving 10,000. That's what I've heard. But if you owe 150,000, I mean, that's something. But is there any advice for a young person that spent a lot of money in school and now here they are still paying off all the student loan?
It's a time bomb in our economy, is what student loans are, because the amount of money that's out there in student loans is ridiculous. And the rules are changing. Yes, President Biden is proposing to knock off $10,000 of debt, but if you owe $100,000, it's not much. The thing that I would recommend to do is do absolutely everything that you can to reduce the interest rate. There was a few years ago, student loans, you couldn't refinance them. It was ridiculous. Some people were coming in with 7, 8, 9% interest rates on their student loans, but you could get a mortgage for 3%. So any reduction that you can get in your interest rate on your student loan is just going to result in a lower monthly payment, which is something we all need to strive for. So I would investigate that. And there are companies out there that specialize in that kind of thing, and I would investigate that.
Thank you. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Stay with us. We are not taking any commercial breaks tonight, so we can talk. Thank you so much, Craig. And who knows, maybe we'll slip back into the finances again, but we want to introduce our guest because he has waited for us. I'm so excited to have on the show today. His name is Baz Facey. Yep, that's his name, Baz Facey. He is a Londoner. And I met him, I'm pretty sure, I guess it's this year. I feel like I've known him a long time. He's already becoming quite a friend. He is a podcaster and an amazing one. He loves American culture. And so he's always studying it. And he was an old friend of mine from way back in the, 30 years ago. And so we've talked quite a bit. He's also done quite a lot of work DJing, and he's raised money. So he's been able to use all these creative talents to do some wonderful things. But he's also survived some things. And he was where I came up with the theme of a reason to fight. That's what it was. It's a reason to fight. And so now I'd like to bring on to the show Baz Facey.
There he is. Hey, Baz.
Welcome.
Hey, take your mute off, man.
Hello.
Oh, what's going on?
I'm good. I was literally just reading something, and then I heard something happening in my ear, and I had a mad scramble. But now we're okay. Rock and roll.
All right, good. Listen to our American financial conversation.
It did.
So,
Yeah.
ooh, who is
Hold
that?
on.
Oh,
So,
I don't know.
yeah. I think that, yeah, Baz. So, you were on the podcast with me last week. Thank you again for that. And so, some of the folks that are listening tonight have not listened to that podcast. So, tell us a quick summary about who you are and what's up with you.
Okay, I have to remember what I said now.
Well,
Right,
you don't have to say the same thing, man.
it is right. I'm in my early 40s. I'm a dad of one. I'm married. I'm a digital designer by day, and I sort of freelance DJ. I'm a podcaster, as I had you on my podcast, which is still very random, but thank you. And I'm a massive fan of American culture, American comedy, especially hip hop, massively into hip hop. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and yeah, just kind of
Well, that was a real summary of what he said. All that in about 15 minutes, but I know that last week when we were talking, you were having some physical issues, weren't you? Were you having some issues at that point?
Yeah, I because of I mean I've been a diabetic for 21 years, and it's starting to affect parts of my body. And one of the things it affects is my eyesight, because I used to be a heavy smoker of cigarettes, and I quit 6 years ago because it was sort of starving the oxygen in my eyes. So I'm ever so partially sighted in one eye. I've got like a blur in my central vision in one eye, and my eyes are prone to hemorrhaging. I've had 2 major operations to kind of stop that, but every so often, something, a little bit of fluid sneaks through, and my eye goes cloudy, and it just takes me out for a couple of days.
Oh, wow.
So how does that affect your digital design? I mean, because it takes a lot to digital design, and I just do it for fun, but
Yeah.
does that affect you?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything's kind of blurry, but it's weird how much you can see, even if some of your sight has partially gone. And obviously, screens are bigger and you can enlarge. The trouble is, whenever I have a cloudy eye episode, everybody I know in the world will send me a message. So I end up having to screenshot and then enlarge. But you kind of get on with it. But yeah, it does. It affects my day job. I think I had 3 months off last year before my operation, which isn't great, but the company I work for are understanding. And yeah, it just reminds me to keep healthy, to keep doing the right things for my diabetes. And like I was saying to Cinda on her podcast, I have a 7-year-old boy. I've made some changes to my lifestyle to try and preserve what I've got, really, and to watch him grow, because he's going to be one for the future, I think.
We always say that the best investment you can make best financial investment you can make in yourself is to take care of your health. Because if you don't have your health, you can't be an earner. And without being an earner, you can't plan for the future. So yeah, taking care of your health is the number one. The second one is always marry the right person. Because if you marry the wrong person, it will set you back a lot.
Come on, guys. Where's my right person? Come on. Let's go. Come on. You heard that, right?
I know about that.
Yeah. Marry the right person. Seriously.
So with your diabetes, is it the kind that, how some people say that it can be reversed? I've only heard this in a couple of people where they say if they exercise and they eat a certain way that they can stop taking the medicine. It can be reversed. I've heard it happen to a couple of people. Is it that kind?
No, it's the take 4 injections a day type.
Oh, okay.
Type 1.
So type 1, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very strange. It feels slightly dehumanizing, and there are points where you just think, really, I got to take these injections, or really, I can't just have that cake and eat it. But you just kind of do what you do, and it becomes second nature. Which has,
Hey Baz, do you have like something happen in your earphones? Is that you? There's some like weird you can't hear it,
Like
can
a
you?
static or something?
is that my
Yeah.
mic?
I think it might be.
There's some weird, yeah.
I tell you what, I'm going to take my mic out,
Okay.
and then just use my headphones.
Okay, we'll see if that works.
It's been. There we go.
Yeah,
Is that better?
Much better, much
Okay.
better. Yeah, I have a friend. I've had a few friends with type 1 diabetes, and then shoot, I got a lot of people in my family with type 2. Type 2 might be the one where you can actually, with a completely change your diet, change everything. Maybe you can, manage it differently. But the type 1, I have a friend. Actually, she's an actress and she's a spokesperson for diabetics. She has this little pack on her body that have you seen this thing? Do you know anything about this, Baz?
Is it the one that sort of constantly monitors your sugar level?
Yeah.
I've heard about it. It's a pipe dream over here, but
why? Because what would make it a pipe dream over there?
Explain what it actually does, if we're talking about the same thing.
I don't really know.
One of my girlfriends has it. She's a principal, and it doesn't monitor. It shoots whatever you're supposed to have,
right,
the insulin. So throughout the day, instead of her having to poke
inject
herself throughout the day, it gives you what you need. So whenever it is, it just goes through her body, and it's almost like you put it in your pocket or you put it in your back pocket, but it's in her stomach, and then the container thing is it's connected to a wire, and it goes in her like back pocket, and throughout the day you get it. So that means she never really has to think about it. She never has to think about whether being injected. It just continually gives her the insulin that she needs throughout the day, and you don't even know. You would never know it. She doesn't know it. It's just there.
A friend of mine, Paula said it's called an insulin pump. Wow. So it's something you need to look into, because I like my friend that I worked with, she did a movie with me. Like I said, she's a spokesperson for this insulin pump, because now they're making them cute. Instead of just being some really ugly little whatever.
You have to drag a bag behind you, yeah.
They're like decorative, like how masks became decorative. Now they have insulin pumps that are decorative, and she does all this photography with her insulin pump because she's trying to help people to understand this whole lifestyle and how strong type 1 diabetics are. A lot of people don't know it. She's talked about it a little bit, but Halle Berry is a type 1 diabetic. And so when I worked with her, the 2 times that I worked with her, it was something that she was constantly being aware of, and that's before the insulin pumps. And so she was having to deal with it. And like you said, it can affect your self-esteem a little bit. It can affect you, but you kept pushing through, right? You kept coming in, and I think you need to look into this insulin pump, dude.
Like I said, I've read about it. I've never been offered it here. None of my doctors have mentioned it. I believed it was something that existed in the States. I haven't heard of anybody over here, unless it's like the rich folk that have it over here, which sometimes happens. But no, I haven't. I will. I'd love to have something like that, because what catches me out is if we're out and I need something to eat. So I do something called carb counting, and the amount of carbs that is in my food, I know how much insulin to take. But if I'm out and I'm hungry, or I need to grab something from a shop or a fast food restaurant, then it's really hard because you don't have the whole nutritional information there, so you kind of have to guess. And sometimes you can go, yeah, not enough insulin, which means sugar level goes high. And at my age now, I feel really sleepy when my sugar level's high. It's like literally falling asleep, sitting down, or you can do too much, which it has a very adverse effect. But yes, something like that would be amazing.
I know because there's both sides of my family, diabetes is such a prevalent thing, but it's type 2. But it's such a prevalent thing that I started that whole carb counting thing thoughtfully a while ago. My doctor, told me that I had a very high, I could get it very easily if I wasn't careful. So I adjusted at that point how I ever eat. I rarely eat out. I don't let myself get hungry to the point where I have to get fast food. I kind of organize it and plan it so that I'm eating a certain amount all day long. So if I'm going out, I've already got stuff packed and all that kind of stuff, just so I wouldn't get to the point where I had to eat something that's, because sugar's in everything. It's in everything, and I mean things you wouldn't expect, especially fast food. They season it with sugar, so it's really hard to measure the sugar there. That would be.
I won't tell you that I had McDonald's today. Then I won't tell you.
Me too. I had one too.
You had it too. I was hungry, and
Yes.
sometimes
Sorry.
you do. It's there, and you like, I'm hungry, and it's been a long morning, so I need to go buy McDonald's. And
Hey, I used to celebrate with McDonald's when I was a child. My mother would take my brothers and I to McDonald's every 2 weeks when she got paid. That was our big celebration for her paycheck. We went to McDonald's, and it took years for me to find a new way to celebrate, because I get a movie where I'm making all this money, I'm trying to get to McDonald's. so so I had to find a healthier way to celebrate and let it be just as fun. But I can feel you with the Mickey D's, but I can't
Your
do it
McDonald's
anymore.
is next level over there, because last time I was in New York, I went in and you had something called a third pounder. And I was like, what is this? Just
A 3-pounder.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
Yuck.
I don't understand how big. Like, why don't we have that over here? And, yeah,
because you don't want it, you don't need it, you don't need it. No, look. It's hard. It's hard to resist.
They started diminishing the sizes here, though. They had to, because people were getting sick, and with the McDonald's documentary movies and all this kind of stuff, they started making things smaller. Like with the children's meal now, it's not automatically fries. They give you apple slices instead. They had to change the serving sizes. They had to stop offering the bigger sizes. They used to always say, would you like to go up up to the great big gigantor size for an extra 50 cents?
Super. But you know what?
It's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you this. You may not believe this or not, but when I eat fast food, I lose a pound. You don't have to believe it, but I told the naturopathic doctor the other day. I did my own study. I did 1 week. I did a fast food for 3 days. And 1, 2, 3, lost a pound a day. I ate vegetables the next week, vegetables and a lean meat. I gained a pound. I promise you, I can't explain it, and I wouldn't tell you a lie. It really happened. I don't know why it happened.
Shelly, stop frying your vegetables in butter. That might help.
Yeah. Okay, April's getting upset because we haven't answered her question yet. So let's answer her question. She said diet and exercise can help control it even with insulin, right? So is that true? Can diet and exercise help you, Beth?
Yes, absolutely. You talk about sort of cholesterol levels,
Okay.
and you know, keeping your heart healthy.
Mhm.
Yeah, all of that. This is why lockdown has been so frustrating, because where I work is such a vast building
Mhm.
that, and I have one of those trackers on my watches. I was walking 3 miles a day just walking around my building,
Mhm.
mainly because the canteen was so far away. But you know, it was yeah. But I lost that so immediately. Like I've been looking at my photos from the start of lockdown to now, and it's just
Mhm.
like getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then realizing maybe I should get smaller. So I'm getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But yeah, you kind of, it's really important as a diabetic to keep active and keep moving, and to eat the right stuff, because your body's so intricate, and it's such a powerful thing, and any little thing can affect it. And if you're not doing the right things, you know, it can have a catastrophic effect.
Yeah,
Mhm.
processed sugar is a big problem with diets across the world. I was just reading when you brought up McDonald's, there are 2 tablespoons of sugar in every Big Mac bun.
Wow.
2 tablespoons of sugar. Can you imagine? It's the second biggest ingredient after flour. It's insane. So yeah, taking care of our health is a huge thing. Like I was saying to you earlier, if you don't have your health, you can't work, and everything goes to hell after that. So we absolutely have to pay attention to how we fuel our bodies, and what kind of things we're putting in. We want to eliminate sugar and preservatives and things like that.
And it affects your energy level as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fighting theme, that theme to fight kind of thing. It's sometimes you have to fight yourself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to, I think, at least for me, that's the most difficult fight I've ever had. Is making the decision to take care of myself in all ways, spiritual, mental, physical. You know, I have found myself in the past um, rebelling against, say, my partner, not this partner, but one of them other ones, because I knew he wanted me to be skinny, because he kept trying to take me to cellulite people. Every time I turn around, he give me some new brochure about how to get some, what's it called when they suck the fat out. And I just was like, forget you, and then stop working out like I'm hurting him. So the fight was not with him, it was with myself, and taking and owning my own situation, and loving me exactly as I am, but fighting for myself. And sometimes that fight happens in a moment, like if I'm out and I'm hungry and I know I'm 15 minutes from home, fighting myself from stopping at McDonald's and taking my tail home and boiling some food, and or warming up some of that chicken from last night. You know what I'm saying? Something that's healthy. It's those little moments sometimes that you have to fight through when you're taking care of yourself, and it's a constant thing until it becomes a habit. When it becomes a habit, like for instance McDonald's, I mean, I'm not trying to give them any play, but I like I said, I used to eat it every 2 weeks as a celebration just because, right? But I watched the documentaries about it. I talked to people about it. I talked to my nutritionist about it because of my health issues, and he was like, "Stop it." So I did, but it took constantly. I'm looking at it. I'm like, "Oh, I want some fries. I want some fries. I want some fries," and to just push myself to keep on moving until I get where I'm going, and then feed my body something healthy. So sometimes we have to fight ourselves, not just in things like that, our physical health, exercise, movement, all those kind of things. Also, we have to fight ourselves when it comes to just, okay, I know it's good for me personally to meditate every day. You guys, I used to be like, I'm very, very patient, but if somebody pushes me, you're gonna get cussed out, you know? But I had to learn how to find a center so I wouldn't get so angry if somebody pushed me too far because I don't like that me. So I had to fight that habit that I had to make myself better. So cuz it really doesn't matter if they like me or not. I want to like me. So I just think that what you're doing, Baz, is you're growing every day and you're making choices every day for your health and for your child. And one of the things that I love the most that you were talking about on the podcast was this reason to fight. Sometimes our children or those we love become a reason for us to keep on fighting. And I know that did for me. um uh Craig, who is Larissa that for you, or am I guessing wrong?
Well, no, absolutely she is. So I'm married to Larissa Julianis, fairly well-known actor, has done a lot of work with Cinda. And Larissa's brand is one of physicality. So she stars in all the Mortal Kombat video games, and she's worked on her black belt in martial arts and Shotokan karate and all that kind of stuff. And during the pandemic, it's become a lot harder for us to get our exercise in and maintain our bodies. And now when we do it, there's often times where we just don't want to do it. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to ride the bike for a half hour. I don't want to lift weights. But we motivate each other and we do it. And sometimes the victory is not achieving a goal. It's literally just doing it. Mm-hmm. And that's the fight, internal fight.
That is the fight. Before COVID, I had from 2017 to right before COVID, I lost weight, lost 50 pounds. I was on it. I was eating, exercising, doing all the things that we were supposed to do right. But as soon as COVID hit, 50 pounds came right here. It just like dropped. It's almost like it came out the sky and said, here you go. Here's 50 pounds. But to get back on it, like, I tried to go back to the gym. I did 30 days straight gym. They shut it down again. Now I don't want to go back. I'm sorry, I can't make myself. I haven't been able to make myself. I know we're supposed to be talking about fighting back, but for some reason I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired of that. You know how you gotta make yourself do it? You gotta get up and make yourself. So I got up and made myself, created the habit, 30 days. And then they say you can't go back to the gym. And you want me to go do this again? You want me to voluntarily go beat my body into submission? You want me to go voluntarily do that? I can't do it.
The answer is yes. Yes, they do.
You know what though, Shelly? I think it's good to take a break sometimes, but find another way. First of all, I'm not sure exactly how old you are, but after 40, women have to change the way they work out. We shouldn't be beating up our bodies anymore, because when you do that, you create cortisol. And so it's much better. There's a lot of literature that you should read, and that's another show that I hope we do. It's called metabolic form of eating and working out. So basically it comes down to this: you only work out 3 times a week for about 20 minutes, like intervals, just 3 times a week. And the rest of the time, you're just doing something light, but really 3 times a week. Because if you start working out like we did when we were in our 20s or younger, it's not having the same effect on our body as it does once we are premenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal. Our bodies are different then. So you can't work out the same way. So women are punishing themselves and it's not working. They eat less, they work out more, which is not how you lose weight. That causes you to hold on to it. So we'll talk about this. We'll get more into
this. We need to talk about this.
Yeah.
My trainer had me lifting tires. Literally lifting the tire up. And go.
Because they don't know how to deal with women. They don't know how to do it. Like I said, women and men can work out similarly up to a certain age range, but when we start moving into our menopausal, premenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal, our bodies change. So we have to change the way we work out. We have to change the way we eat. The whole thing of high protein, no carbs, and stuff like that is terrible. Terrible for your body. That you need certain amount of carbs because it helps you sleep, and if you sleep, then your melatonin comes up, and then all the good hormones come up and the bad hormones go away. If you're not eating any carbs at night, then you're not going to sleep well. So all these things go hand in hand, and there's a lot of literature out there and people that are teaching these things. And once I started doing that, I started maintaining so much better, and I can lose if I choose to. There's a way to do it. So we have a guest now that we're going to bring in, our guest therapist who
She left
we tried.
again.
She left again. Well, if she comes back, we will bring her back.
You just give her a text. I'll let in Disco.
Let Disco in, please. Let Disco in.
And then you
Someone
could text
asked me.
her again. Here she goes. She's back. She came back.
Okay. Okay, cool.
She came back. Here you go. All right. While we're waiting, yes. So, I'm gonna think about everything you said. Everything you said. Hi.
Hi. You're on mute, hon. Welcome, Christina Harmon. How are you?
Hi.
You can't hear us yet? Okay.
I'm sure of the volume.
There you go.
There it
There
is.
you go. Hi.
Hello. So, while she's talking, Baz, you said you're a historian of the United States or something like that. How often do you get to come over here to the good USA?
I've been over 3 times in my whole life. Here's a weird story. I went to Hawaii and I bumped into a dude who he was like a Buddhist, and he was like, "Oh, I just want to show you the ways of this," and he tried to give me a pamphlet, and I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm kind of okay. I'll take this. Thank you." Didn't think anything of it. Went to New York a year later, bumped into the same dude. How weird is that?
That is weird. Especially since it's so big, and then, man, you've been to Hawaii and I wanted to go there, but yeah, that is crazy. Wow.
Wow.
So Baz, you said you loved American culture and American comedy.
Yes.
Yeah. So comedy, what'd you think of the last 4 years over here?
Took me a second.
Okay, enough said. You said it all right there.
Okay, so let's let Christina. First of all, hi DJ Kid Disco, hi, and everyone that hasn't met her yet. This is Christina Harmon. She is our guest therapist, and she listened to the podcast, I hope, and she's aware of our theme. And so, unmute yourself. You got your mute?
Can you guys hear me?
Christina, you're still on mute.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're still on mute, Christina.
I got it.
There you go. So what are your thoughts about this
Hello,
whole
can you hear me now?
Yep. What are your thoughts about this whole concept of fighting back?
Okay, I'm good. Sorry, I had to get the audio straight. I apologize. My apologies.
No problem. So what are your thoughts coming from your perspective as a therapist, from all your different ways of helping people? What are your thoughts on this whole concept of the ability to get up and fight again and get in there and take care of yourself? What do you think?
I have many thoughts. I will start off with one. First and foremost, I just want to express my sincere gratitude and excitement and appreciation for you all allowing me to come on your radio show. This is definitely a blessing, and I know it's a spiritual show, so that's what attracted me to my hopefully beautiful new soulmate in a different way, friend
Mhm.
soulmate. I hope that's not too presumptuous, but I'm just saying how I feel. I mean, yeah, I know why God brought you here. So I just want to thank God and thank you all for honoring me. And it truly is an honor to be here and allowing me to comment. So, of course, I have listened to the podcast. I'm so YouTubed and Netflix and animate out, Xbox out, car video, Alfa Romeo out, Wu Tang out. I cannot watch anything else. So I'm so grateful for your podcast, Cinda, and for the opportunity to be on the show. And so I will scoot past that. I'm having just a moment, and I know you all will understand when, of course, I have nothing going on this week, and my husband, well, fiance, husband, whatever, life partner, has is unfortunately not able to be here tonight,
Mhm.
and so I have a 3-month-year-old
Oh, you got the baby.
and 9-month-year-old, and everything has been a little hectic. So I just want to take a moment and just go. So in any event, I'm gonna take just 3 deep breaths, and I will be able to fully engage and share my thoughts.
Feed the
So
baby. Take care of your baby. So Kid Disco. Uh
Yeah,
thank you. Just give me a minute. Thank you, Cinda.
no problem, no problem. Kid Disco. So you are a fighter. You're a fighter.
let's talk about fight.
Let's
Tell
talk.
us about it, man.
CJ, are you there? I can't see anybody, so I'm
Oh
just.
yeah, I'm here. I'm here, Mr. DJ.
How
Disco,
you doing? How you
sir.
doing, Craig?
Great, man.
Baz
Let
is
me,
here too. Disco Baz
Baz,
Paisley, he's here.
Baz. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am the producer of this show and the producer of Cinda's podcast that Christina was just eloquently speaking about. Let's talk about fight.
Let's talk about it. I'm ready now.
Today was a very, very trying day. Today I was hit with blatant racism. And I mean blatant racism. It was so blatant that Shelly had to point it out to me. First of all, thank God for Shelly,
Amen.
who was there. Thank you so much, Shelly. And all I'm trying to do is just get some services so I can halfway get my headlights back to working.
He
And
means his eyes, just in case.
Yeah,
we
let's
had
let's let's bring them up right quick. A lot of people don't know. DJ Kid
okay,
Disco, Baz, you know, because I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
He has been having some issues with his eyes, so he's had to take a little break to take care of his eyes. He's legally blind in one eye, and then all of a sudden his sight was gone in the other. And so, as you know, Baz, it's difficult to do anything design wise, DJ wise, anything without your sight until you can figure things out,
Mm.
for audio. So you went to the doctor today, DJ
yes,
Kid Disco,
yes,
right? And this is where you experienced this racism.
yes, yes.
So what happened?
Okay, we get there. I'm trying my best to be fluffy all day long. I'm motivated. We meet Joe. I don't know Joe's last name. Did he even tell us his last name, Shell?
No, he didn't tell us. All we know is his wife is 88 and he's about 88ish.
Talk about a fighter. This guy fought cancer 4 times. So I'm hyped. I'm amped. I'm like, okay. And he's saying, yo, this is the best doctor. He's the greatest. And we get in there and this guy walks in with the, oh, I don't want to deal with the Negro. You can just tell the way he walked in. Very rude, and he comes out of left field with this, uh, you got glaucoma, your glaucoma is bad. What glaucoma? Whoa, 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 wait a minute. I'm not here for that. I'm here for you to tell me that my lens is not working right and you're going to replace it. And it just went downhill from there. I refuse to sit down and let somebody that my wife and I are paying, because I found out they're not even mainline health employees. This is a total separate practice that just rents the space in that building. Oh no, you're not getting away with that. So he was, I mean, his bedside manner just sucked. I don't know how else to put it, Shell. Am I being?
No, he's not exaggerating. I would have to say that when he walked in, I'm not talking about anyway. I'm not the person that would talk about anybody, but he just looked weird. He was like, well, what do we have here? And it was like, are you serious? I thought he was going to be a joke, because he was just like, what do we have here? And then he goes in, gets in his eyes, and the first thing he says is he had glaucoma. Now, Disco didn't know he didn't know anything about this, so of course he's taken off guard. Anybody in that situation would be like, "What in the world? What?" Like, you know what I mean? You're feeling emotional. He couldn't deal with it. He was like, "Oh no, I'm not going to deal with it. This doctor-patient relationship is done." Like, he just deaded it. He said, "This doctor-patient relationship is done. I'm done. You're going to go to Dr. I don't want to say anybody's name. You're going to go to Dr. this one. I'm done with this. I'm recommending that you go to somebody else. I can't do this. I can't do this surgery. You got to go." And I'm like, well, we're trying to understand. You said he had glaucoma. He didn't know this. Can you explain? Does he have glaucoma? I cannot say that he has that. It sounds like, but you just said it and you got him all upset. And now he's like, I can't say it. But this doctor-patient relationship, it's not going to happen. It won't happen. It's not. You got to go. Kicked him out. Kicked us out.
And
Kicked
you
me out.
believe that was racism?
It's the way that
I'm not a black-white person. I don't do the whole everything comes down to racism. But he literally, everybody says this man is nice. He was not nice. He didn't even walk in nice. He looked at this black man. It felt like he looked at this black man and was like, I don't want to deal with this.
Oh,
and
did I forget to mention I was the only black face in the whole building?
I'm
in
black
the whole
too, though.
office. Well, we were the only two dark faces in the whole building. So you
only
could just
black patient. Only black patient.
Okay, yeah, only black patient. But I was like,
I'm Western medicine, so I have to say, my skin is crawling and I'm trying to like bite my tongue. Go ahead.
But it wasn't just I was only the only black patient, but there was no black employees throughout that whole office whatsoever. So it was just like really just
so kid, how are you fighting?
Oh, well, first of all, the wife is furious.
Mm-hmm.
She done called, she's writing letters, she wants something to be done. And on top of that, it's like, oh, yeah, but in the meantime, pay us. No, I'm not going to pay for racism. I can get it for free. Have you lost your entire mind?
Mm-hmm.
So I get home, I get into bed. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like getting. And then something inside me says, get up, get up, get up. No, you don't just sit down. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to fight back. I'm going to go back Friday. I'm going to go get this done, get this taken care of. Who cares about that, Coop? But I am going to put him on blast. Shameless plug, the Melanie the Morning Show will go on because I'm going to put him on super blast. Yes, I am.
Do it.
Yes, right. I am. I am not putting up with that crap when all I'm trying to do is see. But I'm not going to let it stop me.
He said, still here. What did he tell you? It's not an emergency. He says he can't see. I can't see. He said it's not an emergency.
And that's where it went south when he says, "Oh, just come in next week or something." You know, it's not an emergency. Yes, it is. I can't see, you goober. I can't see. That's an emergency.
Goober.
Then that's when he turns.
I like that you said you goober. That's awesome.
I have a feeling that's not the word you really use.
No, I love that.
I'm trying to be as PC as I can, folks. I really am trying. But Seabreeze, you know me.
I appreciate you. I'm trying to be big.
What'd you say, Christina?
I can honestly say, and I'm
trying to follow my brother's old supervisor and do rutabaker, but I stubbed my toe. I have a swear jar, and so I like that one. What was it again? I forgot already.
Goober.
All right. I'm trying to get set up a biscuit eater.
the part that I find
Rutabaga.
offensive. This is the part that I find offensive that I'm fighting against.
There's only one part.
This is no, well, yeah, there's multiple parts, but Shelly had a very good point when she broke it down to me, because that's the first that Shelly had to break down racism to me first. I'm usually the the Black Lives Matter guy, so I'm like, okay, wait a minute, why do I have to adjust my voice because he felt some type of way because I'm upset about something that you're hitting me with out of the blue? You didn't even take it. The whole thing took about 2 minutes for him to decide, oh, I don't want to. No, you came in there like that. So why do I have to? Why is it that when we're upset as melanated people, all of a sudden we're a threat? We're this. I have to adjust my voice. No, because if my name was Joe and I had blonde hair and blue eyes, he would have sat there and explained it to me in detail. No, he came in there like as if this is going to rub off.
No, he came in there like,
so contagious.
I don't want to deal with you. I don't, because you raised your voice a little bit. He was just like, no. It was like instant no. And it's like, it was, I'm not one of those people that think racism is, everybody's racist, but he was clearly like, I don't want to deal with this man. I don't want to deal with this black man. Get this black man out of here. I don't want it. And that's just what he did. And my thing is, when I look at it, I say, he's just not the right doctor. Thank you. He just did you a favor.
Right,
and that's the way I look at it. He did you a favor, because if you would have had that goober, if you'd have had that goober operate on your eyes, he might have messed it up. He actually had the nerve to say, I don't think it's going to get better. So I'm not going to do this operation because I don't think I have what it takes to make it better. He said, I've never done these. I haven't done a lot of these operations. Yet they told him that he was the best. He was the best they had. But he said, I haven't done any of these operations. And plus, first of all, I don't think it's going to get better. This is what he says to him.
Did they even X-ray your eyes? Did they do an X-ray or?
I had already. Here's the thing. I forgot to tell you guys. I had already went to a specialist last week. The only reason why he didn't do the operation, we got along great. The only reason why he didn't do the operation is because of insurance reasons. Aetna won't allow mainline health employees to get work done at surgical centers. And that's the only reason why he couldn't do it. That's the only reason why I went to this other place. So I got one doctor telling me, okay, I see what the problem is. I can fix it. I just can't fix it here. So go to this person. So I go to the next guy. He's talking about, oh no, you're just totally damaged. You're just screwed for life. And ain't nothing I can do. Just get your black ass out of here.
Dismissive.
Basically, that's exactly what he heard. He heard, you screwed for life. Get your black butt out of here, whatever. He heard this. So when he raised his voice, the guy couldn't understand that you just told him you were screwed for life. So you let the emotions of his emotions just went like, oh my God, I don't understand. And oh my gosh, it was like, even the nurse was looking at me like, come on, let's go. I mean, her eyes, she looked directly at me like, come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go. I never she deeply, it was almost like, she was like, I'm looking you deep in your eye. Can we go? Can we go now? She's like, come on now. And I'm like, all right, it's time to get out of here. This is not the right place to be. This is not the right doctor.
Here's the disrespectful part. Then he turns around and refused to even look me in my eye and talking to Shelly as if I don't even exist.
Back.
So I'm a white guy and I have blonde hair and blue eyes. So I want to.
Yeah, but you're not your normal white guy. You don't have
I also used to be a medic in the Navy, a hospital corpsman in the Navy. So I was a paramedic and I did all that stuff in a previous life. You know, when it comes to doctors, one of the first things that they do with medical students is work on their bedside manner, like you were saying, DJ. You know, when I was working in the paramedic field, you always saw people at their very worst, right? So you never knew how they were going to act or anything like that. But the number one way that you diffuse all that is that you remain professional, detached, and try to have a sense of humor and in a level of humanity that allows you to connect with people on an individual basis, and you have to do that all day long. And if you're not doing that as a medical professional, you're not doing your job.
Nothing.
So,
And I'm not, and listen, I'm not going to sit here and play the role like I'm not. I know can be the angry black man sometimes.
do you have
ever
resting
watch-
dick voice? Is that you?
Oh my God, I never heard of RDV, resting dick voice.
But listen, if you've ever tuned into the Melanated Morning Show, everybody knows I go in.
I didn't
But
mean
this
to share
time this time I truly did not. I was really on my calm because Shelly was there, and I really was.
You're like, I'm gonna be a good guy. I'm not gonna act a fool.
Wait,
But
so
he-
it takes
he
Shelly
acted
for you
the
to do
fool.
that?
Shelly's there.
Oh yeah,
But,
Shelly, but come on, DJ, you can do it on your own.
Nah, well, I was smiling, happy when we met this incredible guy, Joe, who's 88 years old and beat cancer 4 times. I'm like, wow.
He's a stud.
Yeah, beat
No, I was-
cancer 4 times. And he said every 6 weeks he has to get needles directly in his eyes, and he has to come every 6 weeks. And his 88-year-old wife drives him there. And I'm like, you said your 88-year-old wife is the driver? I said,
Come on, like
really?
they couldn't get it right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop.
But he's talking to her. He's telling his wife, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. And I asked him, I said, do you want me to check on her? I said, because I will check on her, because I'm thinking she's the driver and you have
Yeah,
to
because
tell
she
her
sounded
not
like
to
a
go
wand.
anywhere.
She sounded like a wanderer. So
I've had the needles in my eyeballs. It's not nice.
No, it doesn't
Wow.
sound pleasant at all.
No,
it doesn't.
No.
But by listening to him, I'm motivated. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not that bad off. I'm just here to get a lens readjustment. I'm just here to. Okay, I'm good. Yeah. So I go in. It's like, well, why are you here?
Don't
Read
you
the
know?
read the notes. Don't you know? Okay. And he's
What,
like,
do you have
well,
glaucoma, Doc? What's going on here?
yeah. And then he goes right into my eye, and the way he does it, just like so. Okay, look. Oh, your glaucoma's too bad. What? Whoa. What glaucoma? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? I'm
This is new
confused.
information here.
Right. What? Huh? Did I miss something? No, it's just too bad. Your lens is too. Your eye condition is just too bad. So then Shelly turns around and says, "Is there a cure?" No, there's no cure. You're screwed for life. Okay. So what do I do now? Well, basically just get out of here and go see the minority doctor.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. He sent him to a minority doctor. He made sure. And I'm not gonna say the guy's name, but he was a minority. The name indicated that he was a minority.
Mhm.
So he's like, he's better than me. He's done way more operations than me. He'll know how to handle this.
In other words, he knows how to deal with Negroes,
You.
and I don't. Yeah, that's what I call it. So to sum it all up, not to take up your time, to sum it all up, how am I getting up and fighting? I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going back Friday, God willing. I'm going to get this taken care of. And yes, we are filing a formal complaint against this goober.
Okay.
Your
So let me
bedside
ask you
manner
this.
sucks.
So let me ask you this then. So your reason to fight is what? What's your
Well,
reason to fight?
Well, my reason to fight is because Mama didn't raise no punks.
All right.
Miss Carol didn't raise no punks. That's first of all. That's
Okay.
first of all.
All
That's
right.
first of all. And that's the way I was raised. I was raised a severe Pan-Africanist. So when the racism part came in, you got the right one, baby.
What if he was a black guy that treated you that way?
I probably took him outside, kicked his ass, but that's a whole other story.
That would have been a different kind of fight.
Well, you just can't go around beating up white folks. It doesn't work out. It doesn't pan out very good. We were in the neighborhood. No, we were in the neighborhood where the cops come instantly.
Instantly, man. That neighborhood. I mean, it was the neighborhood because it was a distance away. So you like, yeah, it was not even, but it's somewhere you would want to go. I can't blame that whole place. When I came in, the lady was so nice. She
was so nice to us.
I want to help you out. I know exactly where you're going. And she was so nice. Everybody was so nice until
Except
you
for
get to
him.
the goober. Like,
Well, there's goobers everywhere in every color. So,
But
but
I'm
I'm
not gonna
glad
let
you
that
fight.
stop me.
He was
Not gonna
wearing
let that
anyway.
stop.
He had dress shoes on with his scrubs. Who wears dress shoes with scrubs? I'm sorry, who does? With little ankle socks. I don't know why I checked them out from head to toe. But he had blue scrubs on, brown dress shoes with little tiny ankle socks. And I was like, you're
That
really
is
weird
hilarious.
looking. Like,
So at that point, first of all, at that point, thank God that I couldn't see, because I probably would have bust out laughing in his face, like, dude, what are you into?
what are you doing? Why do you have dress shoes on with scrubs? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Yeah. But if he had been kind to you, you wouldn't have cared.
No, I still would have talked about him. I would have said he had
You would
dress
have
shoes
dogged
on
his clothes, but
If he had been kind to me, he could have had clown shoes for all I gave a good damn. I don't care.
Uh,
I could care
Chances are he
less.
had negligee under his scrubs, so.
I don't care what his what he could have had a bra and panties on for all I gave a damn. I don't care.
Hey
Just
now.
fix my peepers. I don't care what you're
He said,
into.
fix the peepers. He said, the peepers. Come
hey,
on.
hey, can I get serious for a second?
Sure.
So Baz was telling us earlier, I don't know if you were listening in or not,
I was.
that part of his visual issues are because of his smoking.
Here we go.
I'm glad you went there. Thank you.
Oh boy. Here we
Wait a
go.
minute, DJ, do you smoke? Do you smoke? Do you smoke?
DJ, are you?
When I meet you, you're going right over my knee.
Quit now.
Right over my knee.
So wait a
No.
minute, CJ. You of all people are asking me that. What was one of my first important questions to you?
I know, but you can eat that shit. And
Well,
it helps with glaucoma.
Yes, it does help
Well,
with glaucoma.
No,
But
it don't.
I'm talking about cigarettes.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Cigarettes-
That's something else. I'm talking
No
about
cigarettes.
Yeah.
No
Talk about the
cigarettes.
cigarettes and the conversation we had the whole time. We on the way. Talk about it. Thank you, Cinda. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
just got that. I got that lecture from Shelly this morning.
The whole
Yeah.
conversation was about stopping cigarettes.
It affects more than just your lungs. It affects
Absolutely.
everything. It
Yeah,
affects
so
your
DJ,
stomach.
yeah, she's right. I was a medic. I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy. Am I allowed to tell off-color stories?
Sure. I would
How
love
off,
to.
how off, I can't swear though, right?
I don't care if you swear.
Okay,
We're,
all right.
we're
So I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy. I was in the Naval Special Forces. My nickname was Doc.
mhm.
And
That's
I
what-
was
that's usually how
surrounded
it
by young men in the Navy, not married, going out on their liberty time and having all kinds of fun. They'd be smoking like crazy and drinking like crazy. And then I would run the Saturday clinic, and I'd have sailors come in and be like, Doc, I don't know. I got to talk to somebody about this. I don't know who to talk to. I'll talk to you. Okay, what's going on? My dink isn't working anymore.
Oh,
I was like, you're what? My friend,
Oh.
my friend, little Tony between my legs.
oh.
He's not working. So my first question always was, do you smoke? Invariably, the answer was yes. Do you drink? Invariably, the answer was yes. And then the kicker was, do you watch our online porn? And invariably, the answer was yes. So my diagnosis every time was, as of today, you will not smoke again, you will not drink again, and you're not going to watch that crap on the internet because
Whoa, wait a minute.
Wait, no,
wait a minute.
listen to him. Just go listen. Come on,
Oh.
man. Listen. I want to hear this. Say it loud and proud, Doc. Come on, Doc. Come through, Doc.
Not everything is crap. I think that's where people got offended, just saying as a therapist. No judgment. We don't have to judge it. We can just say there's good and bad doctors, porn, police officers, radio hosts. There's good and bad in everything. That's all my 2 cents.
There's no
I mean,
bad on this show.
granny porn fuels me. Come on now.
No, wait a minute, Doc. Why did you tell him to stop? Come on, Doc. Come on. Come on, CJ, Doc.
Why did I tell him to stop? Because
Yeah.
physiologically, alcohol and cigarette smoking affects blood flow, and you need adequate perfusion through your whole body for your brain to work right and for the other fun things that we want to work properly. And then the online thing that affects the way your brain is wired, It affects the way you view women. It affects the way you view intimacy. It affects the way you view sex. It causes you to objectify all that garbage. I mean, it's the same. There's a saying in the financial business, it's everywhere else. Garbage in, garbage out. So
That's not being judgmental. That's just facts.
It's just a fact. Garbage in, garbage out. So cigarette smoking has a big effect on a lot of things. And when you're talking about adequate perfusion throughout your body, that's blood flow, circulation throughout your body, any of your vital organs are not getting enough circulation, it can affect it. You know, through diabetes or glaucoma, eye issue, whatever it is, we want to cut that crap out. So that's my advice to everybody.
I agree.
Yeah.
If I had your stuff, DJ Kid Disco, it would be applause right now.
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah. I don't have to.
But no judgment. There's no judgment here.
No judgment, but Dr. Craig says, DJ Disco, quit that crap.
Yeah.
I just went through that
second that emotion. Send the third that emotion. Baz fourth and fifth. However many.
See, Baz. Hey, kid, the Baz quit smoking 6 years ago because it was affecting his sight.
Yep.
It was affecting my ability to watch porn.
Now that's an incentive. If it stops my ability to watch grading porn, then maybe I better
See
put
there?
the report sale.
There you go. Just stop that stuff, man.
Oh my gosh, you guys are funny. What do you have to say, Christina? Tell us something, girl. Tell us something.
Okay, so here's the thing. Once again, I'm just gonna express my gratitude and my joy of being here. First of all, can I introduce myself?
Please.
Just introduce
do it.
Is that okay now? I just want to be respectful of everybody's time.
Yes. We have 15 minutes, so we want to hear what you have to say.
I'm gonna give you a sum up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So my name is my family name. My birth name is Christina Nairi French. I grew up in a small town called Naperville, Illinois. I don't know. I was actually born on the south side, Wild Hundred. Barack Obama. My grandfather, which I need his picture, is my inspiration. May God rest his soul. And his son right now, my uncle, part of my craziness, you all talk about fighting, is fighting for his life right now in the ICU due to COVID and pneumonia. So my mom,
oh my God.
My boyfriend had to quarantine, and I have baby and scary people showing up at my door downtown by myself.
Oh, wow.
It's just, so I was just relieved again because one of the things, and I have ADD, so I'm going to tell you 3 things about me that's really important for you all to know. 1, I have a learning disability. 2, I have ADD or ADHD, self-diagnosed, and also by my therapist, which I'm working to mindfully address on my own. I'm very proud of myself, my DBT and hypnosis. I'm a I've been a therapist for 20 years. 20 plus years. I now owner of my own private practice called Harmony Holistic Healing Center, which is named after my 9-year-old going on. I heard on the podcast. See, I'm referencing that, so I listened to it because I have nothing. That doesn't sound right. I listen to it because I enjoy listening to it. I'm so tired of listening to everything else, and I am so grateful to Cinda because, well, let me say this: 2 things. I'm gonna jump real quick and I'm gonna come back. I'm very grateful because what Cinda doesn't know is that have you all ever had an experience with manifestation, and this is a spiritual show, so I can share, right? Is that appropriate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when God's working and you just know that God brought you, like, your podcast, like-minded individuals, soulmates. Yeah. See, I've done my research. I do my homework. I'm thorough. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've watched all of Netflix, and I'm so tired of watching, there's some good stuff, but I'm so tired of it. And for me, being an extrovert and having ADD and understanding that I am so blessed that I've known since before I came what my purpose was. And now it's manifesting. And my mom and I, who's also, her name is Sandy. Hi, Mom. Also a life coach, who's one of my life coaches. You know how like people are just naturally gifted, like Cinda and, you know, a lot of other amazing people, you know, and multi-talented. That's what my mom and I were just talking about. Like, there's a lot of people that are like multi-talented. And so I say all this to say that I'm just honored and blessed to be in this space, and I'm truly humbled. And what Cinda doesn't know, and I'm trying to say without breaking down crying, is that she has kept me going. I too had it. What did you say, Cinda? I wish my mom was here. What did you say? Not unexpected gift. Your daughter. She was a
Yes.
unexpected gift.
Mm-hmm.
And I am one of those people who I've been told, you know, my friends keep joking. Have you all seen the, you all are into music. Have you seen, or at least I think you are. I can't make that assumption anymore. My boyfriend's in Wu-Tang and doesn't like music. So, or was in Wu-Tang. So I can't, I'm assuming that Cinda, you love music.
I do.
I don't like to assume because I assume that someone else loved music from the Bahamas and Wu-Tang and they were not. They do, but not the way other artists do. Makes sense? Like he like I sold crack, I can sell CDs. Not that he sold crack. He never sold crack. I'm just saying he's a project manager. So an album is a project, science is a project. So, you know, my boyfriend and I, we've been together 6 years. I mentioned it's our anniversary. We both work in the medical field. We've both been on the front line. COVID's extremely stressful. In the midst of everything, I'm deciding to reinvent myself. And as I've shared with Cinda, you know, privately, and I'll share publicly, is, you know, for therapists and everybody on the front line right now, like I say, I am really struggling because I had an unexpected gift and I battle with postpartum and a little bit of depression. And I don't get like depressed. I'll sit on my pity potty for about 2 to 3 weeks and I can't, you know, I can't do it anymore. You know, and part of my thing is, like I was saying earlier, my addiction isn't like, you know, anything other than television. And it's very unhealthy for me to sit and watch television. Well, before I met my soon to be husband, I'm sure, my baby daddy, Jamal, he loves to watch television. And that's all he does. And he's a scientist and he works in a science place. I'm sorry, we worked on sharing and sometimes I overshare. So he works for a company. And we're
Hey, Christina, I have a question for you.
Yes, real quick. I just want to say patient care should be exceptional, extraordinary. I don't care what the issue is. That was some bullshit. Report his ass, get his fucking license number, and report that motherfucker. Because that's fucking unacceptable. I don't give a fuck what the reason is. As my mom would say, for reasons best known to him, that ain't your fucking concern. Why the fuck they treated you like that? That motherfucker needs to go. And that's all I'm gonna say. At the end of the day, like I said, there's good and bad and everything. Good therapist, bad therapist, you know. And that was just the main point I wanted to make, is that working at Northwestern Medicine for the past, you know, 7 years now, and having my own place where we provide exceptional, extraordinary care. You know, we're all Black females, and that's why I say, you know. And then I have a very diverse board of LGBTQ. I believe in culture. You know, unity and diversity is part of my working in domestic violence, sexual assault. That's really been my thing. So I just, you know, I'm a therapist. I'm also training right now for hypnotherapy, and I'm very into both and holistic, you know, Buddha-ish, you know, all that stuff, Rohan therapy. And I'm going to get my doctorate, you know. And one of the things I just want to say is all my life I've had to fight. And my mom and I talk about this. When I was 6, they were going to fail all the Black kids. I went to Arcadia and I was in 6th grade. I mean, I was 6 and it was 1st grade, and they were, you know how the schools are required to test you for AD, you know, for learning disability and all that. Back in the day, 40 years ago, and I don't care, I'm 40. And my 40th birthday, which I had planned my own surprise party out for my boyfriend and my friends. They already got it. I didn't get to have because of COVID. You know, so I mean, it's like you say, like there's just so many things that like You know,
They
you
were
have to
fighting, right?
fight since I was 6. You know, my mom came and they said, so what was happening was, number one, I was falling asleep in class. Number two, I wasn't able to, like, I got all the answers right, but like there was a, you know how you do the clocks and the time? My time was backwards, but the answers were right. So there are all these signs basically of me having a learning disability, which I know now, and you'll know there's a non-specified, but it's with math and spelling and, you know, things like that. And I've always been told, you know, by my guidance counselor, like, you know, you're stupid, you know, kind of like, well, you need to figure it out, or I've not been given reasonable accommodations. And that's one thing that I really want to work with. You know, Cinda, you talk about changing and reinventing, is I'm really wanting to move more into macro social work and do things on a bigger level, and still do individual and group therapy, which I love. And still hopefully at Northwestern when I can return. But I've had to fight all my life. I'm still fighting right now. I had a police officer try to rape me, and I worked with the police a year ago.
Whoa.
So I still have a question for you, Christina.
Go ahead. I just wanted to introduce myself, and now question. Go for it. Sorry. What was your name? I got to write it down now.
This is Craig. Craig Engel.
Bond, James Bond.
Oh, my friend's gonna love that. Oh my God. So wait, question.
I have a question.
Which James Bond? Are you what's his name? The one in the behind.
Sean
Connery or one of the
Idris
others?
Alba should be.
I'd be closer to Daniel Craig, I'm sure.
Anyway,
I have a question for you, though. This is interesting that you brought up that you had ADHD and ADD and all that kind of stuff. Many years ago, when I was single, I dated a woman who was diagnosed with adult ADD and ADHD. And when I started really, really getting into researching that, because adult ADD also is often accompanied by chronic and acute depression that can affect a lot of different things and can affect the fight that we're all leading. So your fight is right now to get your education and do the things that you want to do. But have you investigated the ties between your ADHD and your ADD and your sometimes depression that you get to manage how effective your fight is in what you're trying to accomplish?
100%. And what I can tell you is that I met a gentleman who was trained in DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, and Cinda knows what I'm talking about, where it talks about basically the same principles. I love it because it's like Buddhism and spirituality. It's the truth repackaged. So whether you watch Yoda or Star Wars, or, you know, shout out to Donna, my first supervisor, or you watch, you know, or you know, you're spiritual, or you know, you're Buddhist. It's the truth, you know. And the truth is, sorry, I have this really loud train.
We noticed.
I wonder who had the train.
But you know, but what it is, it's a train set in the other room.
Double rolling, like parenting, trying to do all this. But to answer your question, short answer is yes, I have, and there is someone who I know who I'm working with right now. I'm working with myself first as the excellent therapist that I am, in DBTing myself to be more mindful and aware of things. And I'm being my own little scientist, and I'm doing my recordings of the issues. I actually went to, it's really cool. It's called the Institute. Shout out to Brain Technology or something like that. It's in Naperville, again, where I grew up, and they did the electrodes on me. And I am one of those people, like I said, I walk the middle path, as we say in DBT. So I'm a both and person, right? If you need surgery, get surgery. I work at a hospital. I'm also a holistic provider, and I believe, you know, herbs, supplements, diet, you know, the whole integrated healthcare system, which is now the new wave, which, like I said, has been on my heart since I came. I think because I have learning disability and ADD, like that's always been, I think as therapists, like a lot of times we seek to cure ourselves, you know, and just like with hypnotherapy, I'm going through that right now, my residency. I'm starting EMDR. So I do all that, and you see a dietitian and you get surgery, right? So I say all that to say, I've never wanted to take Ritalin, because my issue with that is that, you know, at some point when I was in school, I saw a cabinet full, and you all will probably know what I'm speaking of, when you go to the nurse's office. And by the way, I went to the nurse's office quite frequently. That couch was so comfortable, and school was so hard, and they were so nice. See, it was funny. I've always got along with nurses, and I think nurses are great people in patient care. See, ADD, I digress, but I'm bringing it back around. It's going to make sense. I have always been very.
We're witnessing the ADD right now.
I'm also an extrovert, and I'm a storyteller, and I'm a writer. So I'm trying to get it all out in the 15 minutes and bring it all back around, And the answer to your question is yes. And I've been very mindful of my behavior. And I've been trained by Paul Holmes, is what I was saying when I worked at the Kenneth Young Center in DBT, and it has been life-changing for me. And again, it's like that. I didn't realize my earring was out. Okay. Do I have 2 different earrings in? Yes, I do. All right.
Well,
yeah.
So to answer your question, that is yes. And I'm actually working. They did an electromagnetic study on me, and I'm self-diagnosed ADD. I was only diagnosed with a learning disability, but as I got older and have diagnosed others, I understand now that I had what my learning disability is. And I was like, they only tested me for a learning disability, but not for both. And they didn't also test me for ADD. I've got the diagnosis, and I've had to fight for accommodations at every level from the time I was 6 up until through my graduate degree. And part of the issue is this stupid ass term called fucking reasonable accommodations. Because what is reasonable? That's a subjective term. And I literally got into that where the head of the freaking LD department blocked me from going into a class, which everybody else said it was legitimate. And it was a teacher that I understood a little bit better. And I had the issue where I can't explain it. Just some people could explain things in ways to me that I would understand, my mother being one of those people. And so for me, it was very hard as a kid having to watch other people go or hear oh, I'm going to my friend's house. I would be sitting at home crying, thinking I was so stupid, doing homework for 3 or 4 hours. My poor mother got up at, 5 o'clock in the morning, cooked dinner, hit it, went downtown, worked for the federal government for the IRS for 26 years. My dad worked for Apple, IBM, all that stuff. And they're all going downtown, and I'm coming home from school. And I'm waiting till they get home, and my mom hits it in every night. She, God bless her soul.
Well, you've been a fighter, Christina, and thank you for.
I'm done.
Yeah. You got it in. Thank you for sharing your story. Everybody here has had their own ways to get through and pick themselves up and keep on fighting, and so I really appreciate that. Do we have Joe Storm on? We're going to bring Joe on now.
He's on, but let's end if Baz wants to say anything, because I'm gonna cut off the live.
Yeah, we can. Appreciate that. Do we have Joe Storm on? Somebody needs to turn down their phone. Baz.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi to Baz. Sorry to be rude. Hi, Baz.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you for joining us, and maybe sometime in the future you can join us again, because I would like to hear more from you. And Craig, again, thank you for your financial wizardry, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait.
Yes, DJ Kid Disco, thank you for showing your beautiful face. I have missed you.
Hold on, I got a church announcement right along with you, Seabree. So
okay. All right. I'm just saying goodbye. And next Wednesday, we're going to have Mike Vappy, who's going to come and join us. And I'm very excited to hear from him. And Shelly Shell, as always, wonderful, wonderful. We're going to have a word from our dear producer before we move on to Joe Storm bringing us some music and saying goodbye to Facebook, because you can't have the music.
Hi, Facebook. But you can tune in to the Grown Folks Radio every day.
You sure can, because yes.
Wait a minute. This is rebroadcast.
Facebook.
This is going to rebroadcast tomorrow at 2:00. So 2:00 tomorrow, rebroadcast. So listen to thegrownfolksradio.com, and that's grown with an E, GROWNE, folksradio.com tomorrow, 2:00. 2:00 tomorrow.
But that don't mean you gotta wait till 2:00 to tune in, because we be bumping all 24/7.
Yeah, Mr. DJ, you don't have to wait till tomorrow to follow my advice about that smoking thing either.
There we go.
And I'm friendly
Yeah, but,
counselor, so if you need help getting medical marijuana, I have my partner does that. He's a Northwestern doctor. So let me know if you need it for that glaucoma. Let me know when you're ready to get some excellent care. Come on over to Northwestern. We'll take care of you.
Wow,
All right, all right.
are we really doing weed commercials on the air? Okay.
If you're
So
having a
anyway.
problem, wait a minute, I want to hear it in Baz's voice. If you're having a problem with your eyes, make sure you go. I like your voice.
Baz, you're supposed to say, if you're having issues with your eyes.
First of all, I'd like to say, along with CC, I affectionately call her Sea Breeze. Thank you all guys for showing up every week like you do, CJ. And by the way, I'm going to try to wing it probably either tomorrow or Monday. CC, you and I are gonna go at it.
Yes.
I can't keep. So much has happened. I can't keep just. I haven't been on the air in a week and it's killing me. It's like crack. It's calling me. We have got to get back. So
You got to put that resting dick voice to work.
no, I mean, y'all know me. In the morning, I'm amped. I'm hyped. I'm motivated. I got so much to talk about. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Oh man, this is a great time. Like he's
So just
gone.
tell me when. I got you, man. Since we
I'm
haven't
thinking
done
about-
it, I could do it this week.
I'm really thinking about trying to do it maybe Thursday or something. I don't know. Give me a day to readjust and get some
Okay.
stuff together. If
I can't
Resting
wait.
dick voice and goober.
I like it.
and
Patient care
so
matter.
You learned
I just
something
want-
new today.
I just wanted to put that shameless plug out. Me and CC will be back probably this week. I can't keep sitting here and not do. I got it.
Is it fair that you get to put a shameless plug, or can I plug too for my agency? And
Well,
ask for
see,
myself?
well, I'm sorry.
His isn't really a shameless plug. He owns the
Mine
station.
isn't either. I'm
Yeah, I kind of own the station.
excellent
And
patient care.
So
I am-
DJ, when you talk about the ding dong, the witch is dead, is that who I think you're talking about?
of
Mhm.
course, we're talking about Donnie. Are you kidding me?
Why can't I be on that conversation? For
You
God's sake.
can
feel
be.
excluded.
Well, I'll send you the
I
link.
feel excluded. Who's Donnie? Who's the
If y'all
witch?
wait till Monday, I will do the Zoom for you, but I cannot do any more this week.
Well, then why don't we do that, Sea Breeze? Let's wait until Monday.
If you
Shall
wait
we?
till Monday, I'll
Monday.
Zoom it for you.
Oh
but
no, not I can only do Monday night. Remember, I work on Mondays, y'all.
Oh,
Yeah.
How late
Oh,
do you work
yeah.
on Monday?
what day can you do? So, well,
I
Wednesday.
can do it Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Okay.
Those are my days. So
All right,
we'll figure it
that-
out. We'll talk. So we got to end this thing.
Send me that invite. I'm going to
can
go
we-
now.
Bye, Craig.
Bye. Good night.
Bye,
God bless
friend.
you all. Thank you so much. Bye, Cinda. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Right. I'm just gonna end. All right.